Everyone, my name is Alexandra Graziano. I'm a broadcast journalism major, and for my senior seminar project, I decided to write a long-form journalism piece on how COVID-19 is changing the funeral business and the way we grieve. This was inspired by my mother, who works in the funeral business, and around mid to late March, when they started making all these changes, she came home from work and was telling me about how different everything is, and she said, "This is terrible. People can't grieve." And that really stuck with me as somebody who had lost a loved one just a few months ago and had such a wonderful send off and funeral for her, that if I couldn't do that now, I don't know if I would ever get over it. And I wanted to first reflect on, you know, why I wrote this article and what I discovered, and then get into the how. So, as mentioned, I wrote this because it really stuck with me. It hit close to home, and what really pushed me over the edge and became the driving force behind this article was the Donahue family, which I write about in the beginning. They had asked me to record their funeral. I didn't know them, but they were going to my mother's funeral home, and they wanted the funeral recorded, and my mother knew that I could do it, so she asked me, and I was like, yeah, of course. So they wanted this recorded for the rest of their family to see, because George Donahue, who had passed away, he was 85 years old, he did not have corona, he died of a different condition, had a very large family, a very large loving family. He was a very active member in the community. A lot of people knew him, and a lot of people wanted to say goodbye to him that couldn't, which was heartbreaking. So I showed up with some equipment, recorded the funeral, and what I saw, I just knew I had to write about. It was this wonderful family, so very nice. And there was only 10 of them when there should have been way more. He had a huge family. And they all stood there in masks, like a couple feet apart from each other. You couldn't even see them crying because the masks covered their face. And they all had to go up to his ashes, just one at a time, say goodbye, get in their cars, and leave. This was the most bleak and desolate funeral for a man who should have gotten the exact opposite. And, I remember his son saying before he got in the car, we are going to have people back at the house. He was like, we were social distancing, but the second we got the call about my dad, none of it mattered. And I felt like that's the mindset of a lot of people right now. They don't care. If somebody dies, you have to mourn and you have to celebrate. But it's nearly impossible. People want to be with their families and they can't, and that stuck with me. What do you do when you don't have a repast, you don't have a viewing, you don't have your family there, your extended family, lifelong friends? What do you do? How are they handling this? How is it affecting people? And truthfully, there's not much you can do. So I crowdsourced for a lot of this. I couldn't get information the typical way. I couldn't do face-to-face interviews. We all got to make some sacrifices somewhere. I posted on Reddit. They were the best for this. There is a whole subreddit dedicated to morticians, and I explained to them what I was writing about, what I was doing, and if I could talk to any of them in whatever way is comfortable for them, because I'm a stranger on the internet. They might not want to give me their personal information, I understand. And a lot of people reached out. A lot of people gave me their cell numbers, their work numbers. They were very eager to talk. I got some awesome information. A lot of them aren't used to being interviewed, so I didn't get some of the greatest quotes, but I got a lot of good information to bounce off of, which was more than enough, more than I was expecting. I expected one or two people to reply. I got like 5 or 6. And of course, I had my own experiences to write about with the Donahue family and my connections in the funeral business from my mother. So finding sources and finding information, and there's so many articles and so many social media posts, so many things talking about funerals. You just have to look for them. So getting sources, getting the research, getting the information was not as difficult as it could have been because of my experience and my surroundings. This was, I feel like, an article I was meant to write because I know so much about the business without actually being in the business. So the writing process was simple. It was fun, not a fun topic to write about, but something I've always been intrigued by. I mean, I think a lot of people are kind of intrigued by morticians and their job and how it all works. So it was fun to learn. Obviously, it was I wish it could have been a happier topic, but I got to research some awesome things, learn some cool things. I got a lot of great sources. The Funeral Directors Association has a website that was awesome, and my mother, being a member, gets emails sent to her that I was able to get a lot of information from, public information, nothing like off the record, but sources and just gathering info was definitely not very difficult for this project. And neither was writing it. I don't know if it's because it's something I've experienced so much of firsthand, or if it's because of how much information I have. I just sat down to write and didn't stop. Like, it just came to me and I fired it off in my brain. So overall, the process of this, how I wrote it and how it turned out, was great. It was a lot of fun for me because I love writing. Might not have been a lot of fun for other people writing about funerals, but I guess I'm a little weird. But it was fun. It was interesting. I fell in love with writing again because this is the first time I've really written something in a while, given everything that's been going on. And I genuinely enjoyed the process. I genuinely enjoyed the work I put into it. I'm proud of the work I put into it. This has gotten me very eager for my career and for what else I might be writing. Long-form journalism has always been something that has intrigued me. I've always found it interesting because it's journalism, but a little bit more fun. A little less just like listing off facts. It's like telling a story, just in a less factual way. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know what I mean. Like, regular journalism pieces are short, sweet, to the point, get the facts, as to where long-form journalism is more of a narrative piece, and that's a lot more fun to write for me. And it was my first time writing one, and it was really great. I can't wait to write more of them. I think this is something I'm definitely gonna keep doing over the next few months until I can get out of my house. So overall, that's that. I really had a good time writing this. I'm really proud of this. It was definitely an uphill battle. You know, it wasn't perfect. It was very emotionally difficult at times. And I tried really hard not to be very emotional writing my piece, because as a journalist, I need to keep my emotions out of it. But you can't not. I feel like when you read it, there is undertones of my own emotions, and that's not something I'm necessarily disappointed in, because a piece like that, I think if you can write that with zero emotion, you have to be a very cold person. So yeah, this was not my original route for senior sem. I was gonna do a documentary on my area's music history. So this is a far cry, but nonetheless, everything happens for a reason. I really enjoyed getting back into writing this way, and I learned some incredible things that you will also be learning as you read the article, and I really hope you guys enjoy. I just put a lot into this, and I really wanted that, I wanted it to be powerful, and I think it is. I wanted people to read this and just be like I am right now, be speechless, and just, you don't know what to say, because this is insane. This is something we never could have predicted, and something we never thought we'd see before, and this is a view you probably never thought about, because who's thinking about funerals right now? A lot of people, but I mean between you and me. A lot of us are thinking, I wonder how they're conducting funerals right now. I just think it because I live with it. But again, I really hope you guys see all the love I put into this piece and feel the emotion I felt and the power behind it all. And I hope everybody is staying safe and healthy, and you have a wonderful summer regardless of the circumstances. And I hope to see you all again real soon in better conditions.